Bună dimineața și bun găsit la BU. Sunt Sabina Iosub și vă invit să rămâneți alături de mine în următoarea jumătate de oră, căci o să discutăm despre lucruri extrem de importante care au legătură cu planeta, cu mediul înconjurător, dar o să vedem și urmările atacului din Ucraina asupra tot ceea ce înseamnă mediu. Today here with me in the European Parliament in Strasbourg is Virginijus Sinkevičius. Thank you so much for your presence, Commissioner.
Thank you for having me.
We know, we've seen you. You went to Ukraine to see what's happening over there. Tell us what you actually find out there.
So of course I was there a couple weeks ago, and I was in Lviv, and situation in Lviv and in Western Ukraine is not as disastrous as you probably saw what's going on in Bucha, in Irpin, in Hostomel. But clearly we see that we already at around 40 days at war, and situation is getting only worse and worse. Russian military is getting more and more barbaric, and innocent people in Ukraine die every day. And I think we have to put all efforts to stop it. And I truly hope that we will put a strong sanctions package on the table very soon in response to what we saw, to this cruelty in liberated Ukrainian towns.
Let's discuss a little bit about the impact on the environment, because we know that an analysis is ongoing now regarding this aspect, the impact of the war on the environment in general.
So, of course, it will have it all on the environment. 10,000s of tons of military equipment now is being burned and as a metal scrap brought to Ukraine by Russia. Russians are bombing water treatment facilities. They are bombing gas supplies. They're bombing oil refineries, and all that, of course, has a huge impact on environment. I'm working very closely with the Ukrainian counterparts to, of course, account all what has been done, because I think Russia has to be held accountable, and we will have a very concrete numbers on the damage done. But I think utmost task today is, of course, to stop military action, to stop war, Russian war against Ukraine, to reach the agreement that Russians withdraw. But then, of course, we'll have to proceed and hold Russia accountable for war crimes which have been done. Environmental crimes, of course, comes as a additional file. But I think we cannot ignore the cruelty of Russian military soldiers. And there is a very important part, because I hear a lot of society saying that this is Putin and blaming Putin, but not Putin committed rapes and killed those innocent children in Irpin or other parts of Ukraine. Putin is a reflection of a Russian society, so our response has to be according to the rate of cruelty here in Europe.
It is awful what we are seeing, what we are actually living nowadays in 2022. Nobody could imagine that something like this would happen. If we are looking more in depth in Ukraine and in what is happening from the environment point of view, we know that I know that you've said that maybe Ukraine will join the LIFE program in the near future. Let's explain what this will actually mean.
So what that would mean, first of all, of course, that Ukraine would get access to our funds. So we're speaking about hundreds of millions fund, which is basically, you know, our main environmental fund, our program, which of course has within itself a very high environmental standards, but on the other hand, it also a cooperative program among EU member states, first of all, but also member states outside EU, to help each other as regards the nature restoration. So of course those efforts will be very much needed. I officially invited Ukraine to start negotiations and join join LIFE program. We have small bits which we need to clarify, but of course we will make sure, and we agreed with Ukrainian Minister for ecology, that we will do utmost to make sure that Ukraine joins LIFE program as soon as possible. And I hope that will be, you know, one of the steps of Ukraine in the end of the day, you know, bringing them back closer to the European family.
Watching your activity in the recent period, I've seen that you've presented the public your hoodie.
Yes.
Let's explain a little bit what's the main idea.
So, of course, hoodie was used as a tool to send a message, and message was clear, very clear, that the last week in college we adopted a package of sustainable product initiative, where the core of that package was of course ensuring that circularity becomes a norm. And how circularity can become the norm is, of course, by first of all targeting the design stage. So we've put in the additional high standards of recyclability, repairability, durability, and etc. What's additional will go with the products is digital product passport, where consumer additionally to information which we all know very well, the sticker where you see the grouping of the products from A to G and different colors, which usually would save about energy saving, you will have a deeper information as regarding product environmental footprint, as regards the possibilities to repair the product, how long it's going to last. If, for example, this is some electronic goods, so we will try to avoid obsolescences, or at least inform the consumers about it beforehand. Together with that, we presented textile strategy, and this is where the hoodie idea came, because textiles, they put a major pressure on the environment. So far, this is the sector which didn't have high recycling rates. To be honest, it was extremely low, so only 1% of the clothes that we wear is recycled, so 99% ends its life in incineration or landfilling, which is the worst what can happen to the environment.
And that is due to the fact that the persons, the people in general do not recycle the clothes, or due to the materials the clothes are made of?
So that's both. You're probably right in describing the issue of both. So first of all, it's very hard to recycle some fibers. First of all, because of chemicals that are used. Secondly, there is no, let's say, obligation to collect it and so on. That's what we're introducing, the extended producer's responsibility. So importers or producers of garments, of clothes, they will have a responsibility to collect it and then recycle it. So of course we tackle design stage, where we watch at the chemicals that are used, so that would allow recycling. But of course
So actually it's a revolution.
It's a big change, yes. It's a big change in a sector which was not really, before that, I would say that textile sector was the one who would always avoid any, let's say, rules put in, and that's why the issues only aggravated, and of course we had to react. The last but not least, of course, consumers. So one thing is, of course, the fast fashion. We need to drive it out of fashion. And make sure that consumers also know the full information. We have to make sure that that clothes that we wear are more durable, that there is a possibility to repair them, and repair costs wouldn't be more expensive than to buy a new one, that clothes do not wear off after a couple washes. So this is a very, very important part which we've putting in. But most importantly, I'm happy that the textile sector is accepting it very well.
Is accepting it?
Absolutely, because
it's not, does not have a huge impact on the money, on their pocket actually.
So on cost,
the sales are dropping, I think. Yeah.
So that depends how you're going to look at it. So on one hand, we of course want to limit the production. and provide consumers with more durable, more reliable clothes. But on the other hand, for producers, what's very important is level playing field. Because we have multiple producers who actually already, stick to those high standards, who sell more durable clothes and who is not involved into fast fashion and so on, but they do not get any competitive advantage. Now, with the full information given to consumers, of course, we're going to race not for a cheaper price, but we're going to race for a better quality. And race for a better quality is also good for consumers because when it scales up, it of course makes price cheaper as well. But what's very important, and we should remember that race to a cheaper price also programs big issues. Very often clothes that we wear are associated with a cheap child labor, of course low standards that contains chemicals that are dangerous to environment and so on. So I think there are very clear pros which sector grasps very well, and I had multiple meetings with CEOs of different companies discussing what they're already doing on which path of sustainability they are, how far they advanced, and as I said, I'm glad that they're really accepting it very well.
For me, as a consumer, as a final consumer, will it be? I don't know. Will I meet the big prices in the near future? Because we know if we are